5 years now. February 4th is 6 years.
No, it's not. It's gonna be 5 years. I ain't been doing this no 6 years. It's gonna be 5 years.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
You wouldn't count
18.
13, y'all started at 13.
13 to 14 to
13, 14,
15 to
15, 16,
16 to
17,
17
18.
to 18. We went on what? 13?
13.
13 to 14, 14 to 15, 15 to 16, 16 to 17,
And you got
17
one
to
more finger.
18. Wait a minute.
That's called 5 years. I'm so tired of people trying to run my stuff. I don't know what to do. I done told all asses to go somewhere and sit
All
down.
right.
You're on social media.
Well, whatever I say, I can't take it back. I gotta
Yeah, you
add
can't
more
take
to
it.
it.
Can't take that one back.
All
They ain't gonna
add.
think it's you nowhere, cause they gonna be like, Dale was cussing.
That was Dale.
Oh.
All right, see, he only doing New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve.
Mm.
I'm gonna make you a list for 2019, starting with the 4th of July. I'm gone. Y'all have a good show. Now, he wasn't hearing none of that, but when I'm in here talking to somebody else with the door halfway closed, he can
I
hear
love
all
you
of that.
so much too, Carmel Kisses.
Something ain't right with this.
Show that.
Mm. They don't get around. And just when you thought it was safe, it is absolutely, positively not. And good Wednesday evening to you. Welcome again to Steel, the most controversial, the hardest hitting, the rawest, not given a damn television talk show anywhere in the country. Where on this show, it is not politically correct. I don't say the things that make you feel good. I tell it just the way I see it. Excuse me. And tonight it is not going to be any different. In fact, tonight I'm going to say some things that nobody else in TV in this city will say because it's not politically correct. I'm going to say some things tonight that nobody else on radio will say. I'm going to say some things tonight that even some of your political leaders will not say. So we're just going to deal with some. And this is basically a Memphis subject, but it's taking place all around the country. I want to talk about in Memphis the return of white rule, white folk trying to take over Memphis all over again, and the good niggas in their corner that's helping them do what they're trying to do. When we look back at the history of the black man and we look at the history of slavery and we look at how blacks were brought from the ivory coast of Africa to this particular country, if we are totally honest with the story, we know that slavery could not have taken place unless black chiefs had not accepted the trinkets and the gifts of the white man. In other words, our leaders sold us into slavery. Suppression of the black man was caused by the trinkets, the pieces of silver that were given to our leaders who sold us into slavery. They didn't just come get us. They were able to buy our leaders, and our leaders accepted their gifts and placed us in a state of mental and physical slavery. And the mental part is still very much evident in many blacks around this country. When we look here at the city of Memphis and its leadership, we find very few blacks that are responsive to the needs, the concerns, the commerce and economics of black folk. We hear the stories of, if you elect me, I'm going to do this, that, and other for those of you who put me in office. But what we see so often is the betrayal, the Judas complex of black leadership in selling us out because that white boy is willing to give them some trinkets and the crumbs that fall from the table. For about over the last 20 years here in Memphis, in this predominantly black city, that is 70+% black in the city of Memphis, black leadership has dominated. There has been a majority on the city council. For nearly 20 years, Dr. W.W. Harrington was the first elected black mayor of the city. Black city council persons rode his coattail into office and made a predominance on the city council. Whites in this city then came up with something after blacks had been in office, and it seems that blacks were constantly being elected. Whites in this city came up with something that they call term limits, that you could only be in office for X number of years and then you had to get out of office. Term limits did not exist prior to the days of Dr. W.W. Harrington and black leadership. When I look at the makeup of this city, we have every right, without apology, for blacks to be the majority on the council. What is happening here in Memphis now? This fight that is going on to fill 3 vacancies, and especially District 1 with Rhonda Logan, is not about anything else but racism. Pure and simple. It's nothing else but racism. Many of you, good coloreds, who think that everything is all right in the city of Memphis and all right in America, and you feel that the white man is no longer the white man of old, but he's a new white man. You have allowed yourselves, because of the trinkets of this white man, you have allowed yourselves to be sold into slavery and to think that everything is all right. Let me give you an example. Excuse me. You will say that there is no money in the black community. We poor. But if the black community all across this country was as poor as some want you to think, even though we have $1.3 trillion in buying power across this country, if we were so poor in the inner city, in the black community, why is it that every other race comes into our community and it enriches itself? Chinese love to come. The Arabs love to come. The Japanese, they all come into our community, get rich, and take their riches back to their neighborhoods. If we were so poverty stricken in our communities, why is everybody trying to get here? So as I look at what's going on with this city council, Rhonda Logan is just the distraction. It's all about one thing. It's all about power. The white man in Memphis, the power brokers in Memphis, have not had power in over 20-some years. So that white boy says now, what we're going to do, we're going to take back Memphis. It's going to be a return to white apartheid in Memphis. Apartheid. Pastor Ricky Floyd used that word today, and Pastor Floyd, it was good seeing you, man. Apartheid, defined as a policy or system of segregation or discrimination on grounds of race. Your white city council persons, Frank Corvette, Worth Morgan, Kim Conrad, J. Ford Canale, Reed Hedgepeth, Berlin Berlin ain't white, or is he? Or is he the token that the white boys are using as their swing vote? What it's about, ladies and gentlemen, is very simply this. It's all about being in control all over again. They know that they have Berlin. There is no doubt. It's still evident. His actions at the city council meeting when an activist, a white activist, in fact, does not agree with him and calls the city council some kind of bad word. I wasn't there because it didn't get good till I had to go. Your city councilman, your chairman of the city council, while in session, looks at the man and says, "Your mama." Well, damn. your mama. The city council with the 3 vacancies come down to 10 members. Nothing is getting done. Nothing is going to get done. Because the white boys won't rule. They want to be in charge. I'm going to make a phone call in just a minute to City Councilman Martavius Jones so that he can define some of what is really going on. Rhonda Logan, why does the City Council not want her? The white City Councilman not want her. First of all, there has never been a black, even though it is a predominantly black community. In fact, it is the community that I pastor in, has never had a black councilman. They understand that Rhonda Logan cannot be dictated to by them. Rhonda Logan, an activist in the community. Rhonda Logan, who has spent her career in the community. Rhonda Logan, whose father has pastored, I think, nearly 40 years in that area. And I'm talking about her father is Pastor Sammy Holloway, pastor of the Breath of Life. Is it Holiness Church or just Breath of Life Church? Breath of Life, we'll go with that. Rhonda Logan, where many went out to the city council meeting and told these white boys, this is who we want to represent our community. This is who we want. She's a part of us. But the white boys that don't live there, the racists that they are on the council say, no, we're going to select who we want to have on the council. Damn what the people want. We don't give a damn about the people and their views and their values. Damn you. F you people that live in that district. We know better. Like white folk have always thought that they know better what black folk need than we do. No. And then you got their token Berlin board that goes along with their madness. So now the whole thing, the whole process has been put off until January the 8th. And notice also that Berlin board is still the chairperson because the election of a new chair has not been able to come up. Let me tell you something, none of this that is happening is an accident. The white boy, Worth Morgan, in his racist tirade yesterday concerning Rhonda Logan, said, I can't support you because Touche Parkinson spoke for you. Ricky Pete spoke for you. Ricky Pete spoke for her. Ricky Pete, yes, he sinned and came short. Yes, convicted twice of political doo-doo. Went to jail, served his time, paid his debt to society. Ricky Pete, who is a political consultant. Ricky Pete, who was a consultant even for Berlin Boyd when he ran for office this last time. That Ricky Pete, who was even the consultant when Mikhail Lowry ran for county commission several months ago. Ricky Pete, who many in North Memphis get to run their campaigns and consult. Many judges that have been elected had Ricky Pete as their consultant. What the hell does Ricky Pete say? Ricky Pete, a product of North Memphis, who still resides in North Memphis. And Ricky and I have not always agreed, but damn, right is just right. I don't give a damn where the right comes from. It's right when it comes. So you're going to tell me, white boy, you're going to tell me that you can't support a black woman with a history of service in the district. You can't support her because Ricky Pete spoke up for her? That's bullshit. These white boys want to take Memphis back to 1968 and before. It's racism, they're racist, and nothing is going to happen on this city council. It can't, because the four blacks, Patrice Robinson, Jamita Swearingen, Joe Brown, and Martavius Jones, are now the minority. Because Berlin Boyd votes and supports the white boys that's on the race. There has to be a massive movement in 2019 in the city elections to move Berlin Boyd from office. There has to be a move to get him out of office. This council does not want, these white boys don't want strong blacks in the office. Now you watch the names that they may come up with that they support. You're going to find them supporting some unknowns who have no record of service in the community. Watch who those white boys support. Because if unknowns start to showing up and being supported by these whites, we know that these are some Negroes that have already been bought by white power brokers in this community. I'm going to take a commercial break, and then when I come back, I'm going to have Martavius Jones on the phone. Before I go to commercial though, let me say something. We're not unified in this city. Black folk don't care nothing about each other in this community. You allow white folk to use you and manipulate you because some of you niggas ambitious. You got hopes of grandeur. You got hopes that the white man is going to do something for you. Even right now, there is a fundraiser going on for Jim Strickland, white mayor. There's a fundraiser going on. And some of the co-hosts of supporting and raising money. I got a list here. Some of them, I don't know whether they black or white, but it's a bunch of them I know black. You got a bunch of blacks already supporting Jim Strickland and trying to raise money for Jim Strickland. Chairman of the county commissioner, Van Turner, Commissioner Mikhail Lowry, board member Kevin Woods, school board member Mikhail McCaskey, Tennessee State Senator Romesh Agberry, Commissioner Reginald Milton, Patrice Robinson, City Councilwoman, board member Teresa Jones, Tennessee State Senator Katrina Robinson, Commissioner Willie Brooks, School Board Chair Shante Avant, Walter Bailey, Diane Withers. These blacks have already committed themselves to Jim Strickland. The question is asked, how much is that nigga in the window? And the answer says, many of those niggas are free. They don't even want anything to be deceivers. We'll be back right after these commercial messages. Somebody said, I'll pray for you. Who are you talking about? Let's see if I can get Martavius here. Martavius.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're in commercial break. So I'm coming to you as soon as we come out of this commercial break.
Okay.
All right. How many I got in this set?
Huh? You got two more left.
I got two more. Selena, what's going on, baby? I'm doing well, Selena. This the last one? All right, Martavius, we're finna go in about 30 seconds.
All right, man, I'm on your time.
Okay. Boss man, well, I told you, you gonna get your ass off the page. And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show. Who better to talk about what is going on with the city council than a city council person? On the phone, I have city council person Martavius Jones. Martavius, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
What exactly happened last night? I know that you and the other blacks, Joe, Javita, and Patrice, walked out several weeks ago. What happened yesterday evening, and where are we with the city council as of now?
Well, first of all, that is, we still are where we are, or we still are where we were 2 weeks ago, a month ago, being that we have 10 council members. That's where we are. We failed to make the appointment for the district one position. So right now you have the residents of District 1 who are not being represented.
Mm-hmm.
That's bottom line, that's where we are.
Okay. So it seems that there is a lot of division, and I'm calling it racism, that is happening with this city council. How are we, first of all, going to get persons on the council to represent the people? And then, second of all, how far are we from getting back to the business of this city?
Well, the business of the city and appointing somebody to the city council, what I've learned, those are two distinct and different issues, depending on what the issue is. What I mean by that, in order for the city to conduct business, city council attorney Alan Wade has opined that you only need 6 people to conduct a quorum. Excuse me. I agree with that. I agree with Mr. Wade's assessment that you only need 6 people because we are currently a body made up of 10.
Okay.
So 6 is the majority of 10. However, And so, thanks to research that was done, I do now know that while you may only need six to conduct business, you only need we require seven in order to fill a vacancy. And the last time I counted, there are 10 of us, the 4 of us that walked out, that does not produce 7.
So, with the makeup of the city council now, how are we going to get anyone selected? And let's go first of all, and I need some clarity on this because I've heard 2 or 3 different reports. Is Rhonda Logan out of the bidding?
As of right now, she is not.
Okay.
Now, what may take place once we reconvene, and that is, I'm going to object to us, because one of the things that I've stated, we have no control over who applies.
Mm-hmm.
We had 6 individuals to apply.
Okay.
So in my estimation, we only have 6 people to choose from.
Okay.
Now, one person dropped out, so that means we have 5 people to choose from.
Okay.
And so, the thing that I've tried to emphasize, I don't agree with changing rules in the middle of the game. So if we do this for District 1, we have 2 other appointments. So if a certain faction of the city council is not satisfied with whom applies in those seats, do we change those rules again? Do we open it back up? So that's why, just on principle, I'm not in agreement with our opening this process back up.
Now,
Opening the pool back up.
Channel 13 reported this afternoon that she was out of the selection process. So you're telling me that this is wrong information?
Well, no, I don't know. I'm telling you that I don't know. What they have, so the motion that was made is, to my understanding, is that we will reconvene this once we come back and have the next meeting in January, which is on January 8th.
Right. So
Unless she's dropped out, but here's the thing, Patty. If she drops out, I'm okay with that. From the standpoint, I encourage her to run in October, because Ms. Logan has been, dealt a wrong deal in this situation. I think that she will have the support of the community. I think she will also have the support of just, folks realize there was an injustice dealt, and I think it would be in her best interest if she did, even if she did decide to drop out, she definitely needs to run again.
but when you all reconvene on the 8th, is her name still in?
I don't know, but
I mean, if she wants,
for her.
okay, if she decides that she still wants the appointment, is
I
she?
will still be an advocate for her.
Okay, so there is nothing that can disqualify her and say even on January the 8th that she cannot put her name back in.
Well, so that is before I got on the city council, there were rules. The Memphis City Council rules of procedure.
Right.
There were rules established.
Uh-huh.
And the rules established define how we operate.
Okay.
There will have to be a suspension of those rules. And that suspension of the rules requires 2/3 majority. Now, we're down to 10 people. And I'm a financial advisor, remember?
Right.
So I know math. I know money.
Okay.
The bottom line is that in order to get to 2/3, that requires 96 votes, which if you take Councilman Brown, Councilwoman, Councilwomen Robinson, and Swearengin out of the equation, it'd be 10 minus 4 is how many?
That's still 6.
You still cannot appoint anybody based on the council rules unless you have 7 votes.
Now,
So,
okay, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was going back to what you said about the suspension of the rule.
You have to have the 2/3 majority. So 2
Okay.
As you know, as I stated the first time that we worked out, I think that Councilman Brown, Councilwomen Swearengin, and Robinson and me, we stand as a solid unit. I'm not gonna crack.
Okay. Okay.
So in order to appoint anybody, we have to get seven, regardless of where they come from. So it could be the six that conducted a meeting a week ago last Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
but that's still six. We
And,
have seven people that's required in order to appoint somebody.
okay. So the rules cannot even be suspended without the seven.
Without a 2/3 majority, right?
Okay.
That's correct.
So let me ask you something, and I know this is shaky ground for you as a council member. Do you think that there is an intentional stalling of the process by the chairman?
I don't think that there's an intentional stalling by the chairman, but I think that we are at an impasse. We are at an impasse because, you know, as some opinions that were stated last night, particularly by my colleague this morning, he indicated that his objection to Ms. Logan was based upon her support from Mr. Ricky P. and Representative Hardaway.
Not
I'm sorry,
touche,
Representative
Parkinson.
Yeah, Representative Parker. So the fact that that's the case, I don't think we have no control over who supports us.
Okay.
And you know, I had a conversation with somebody tonight, and you know, it really crystallized things from the standpoint of, you know, for Memphians to say, and Memphis is a Democratic, Shelby County is one of the only Democratic counties that we have in here. So I don't know how any of my colleagues, any of my white colleagues voted, but should we say that you should be a city councilor because you voted for Trump or you supported Trump?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
We have no control over who supports us or, you know, there could be, as somebody mentioned, that there could, I listened to the press conference that Representative Parkinson had today. We could have different who are convicted felons. So just because that person supports us, we should be eliminated from public service? I disagree with that.
Mm-hmm. 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 So when you reconvene on the 8th, and the thing that I regretted yesterday was y'all didn't get to the good part till 6 o'clock, and I had to leave to be here at 7.
So,
Yeah. What's going to happen? How is the process going to go? Do you think that you can even get 7 votes with this particular council, or do you think that a special election is needed?
well, what was provided to us by our counsel, Dalloway, he indicated that there are certain provisions in the charter that allow us to have a special election. And to fill a vacancy doesn't have to be one, right now, currently isn't one of those things. However, I'm of the opinion, and as I stated last night, I'm not a lawyer, but hell, I can read.
Okay.
The fact is that I understand all, whatever the case may be. I understand that the county and city report to the state sort of reports to the federal government along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a city charter. However, a chancery court could overrule what the charter may be. That's my understanding of things. I'm not a lawyer. But if we say something, if Mr. Wade opines that the only provisions allow us to have a special election when there's a state election or a county election, and not beyond that, I disagree from the fact that it's just an opinion, that there could be a chancery court judge that basically says, look, here's what we're dealing with, and we have the people or the taxpayers and residents of District 1 who are not being represented right now, and by the authority invested by the state of Tennessee, we can have a special election.
There is a very good chance that Ms. Logan and people who are in her camp will be filing a lawsuit. Do you, as a councilman, think that the only way to really solve this matter is a special election?
Well, based upon last night, but as I mentioned to you, I don't know if there's any provisions within the charter that allows us to do fill with special elections. So that part I don't know, but to take the personalities out of it, to take to take the control of who sits in that seat from 10 people and put it in the hands of 90,000 people who live there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against a special election.
Do you think,
I'm not.
do you think that this council has the ability to bypass the racism and vote someone into these offices? And I'm still primarily talking about District 1. If the people still want Rhonda Logan, are the votes there? Will the votes ever be there?
That is, I don't think the votes are there right now, but I'm still willing to. I think that Councilman Brown, Councilwomen Swearingen and Robinson and me,
Mm-hmm.
I think we are standing on principle. Yeah, as I mentioned last night, that there's not a black person that I know that was not taught early on that you got to be twice as good and you got to work twice as hard. And all of those adages that we were brought up to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is totally being ignored by my counterparts. And not to say that there's a natural inclination of them to recognize that, and that's why I wanted to bring it up last night. But if we talk about what the qualifications are, we have no control over who applies to these positions. To me, Ms. Logan's confirmation by 7 votes would have been a no-brainer, especially when you're talking about somebody who just relocated here from Senatobia, Mississippi, just a few months ago.
Well, should not the council vote the will of the people in the community?
Well, I would attest that as a council member, and District 1 is in Super District 9, which is not my district, and I tend to think that I don't vote just based upon what the wishes are of the area that I represent. I think I vote, I hope that I vote in what's in the best interest of all of Memphis. All of that being said, I still think that I'm voting in what are the wishes of the districts, of the members of that particular district.
But Martavius, when people from that area, and this is an appointment, not the election, when people come from that community, your Pastor Ricky Floyd's, your activists, okay, when they come before you as a body for the appointment, okay, and they say to you, council members, this person has a history of service in our community, we're down to 2 people, a person who has a history of service in the community, who's lived in the community, who's paid taxes in the community for
dues in that community.
right, whose father has built a church and been
One of
pastoring
the largest churches in that area.
right in that whole district. And here we have a guy who in May ran for an alderman in Mississippi.
No. He did and we are 2 different things.
He ran for alderman though, didn't he?
Well, no, what I'm saying is that you said may have run.
I mean, yeah, I'm saying he did. He ran for alderman. Okay, he ran for alderman in Senatobia, Mississippi.
Yeah.
He lost in May of this year. All of a sudden, he comes up with a address that may or may not be in the district. From my looking at the map, it looked like he was more in Bartlett than he was in District 1. But here's a guy, even if he's in the district, who only moved to Memphis in May of this year, has no history in the community. What can it be other than racism, Martavius, when your white counterparts say that we'd rather vote for him than vote for a woman, a black woman, who has a record of service?
And that was the basis for my question last night when I asked of my colleagues. You know, it wasn't one of those things where we had an interchange or exchange between us. I asked the question, besides his whiteness, what did he bring to the table?
Uh-huh.
I asked that question.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't it. I didn't get a response, but that was my question.
Okay.
Besides his whiteness, what did he bring to the table? And you know, that is, I go back to when keep in mind, I was appointed to the school board,
Mm-hmm.
and what I feel was the asset that I brought to the table. Tamika Hart was a lawyer. You had Dr. Jeff Warren, who was a physician.
Mm-hmm.
You had Mrs. Sarah Lewis, who was a former administrator. You had Stephanie Gatewood, who, you know, was a community activist. I recognized, and when I brought to the table of the makeup of that school board, I said, there's nobody on the school board that has a finance background.
Okay.
To me, that was what I brought to the table. I didn't bring to the table, yeah, I went to Memphis City Schools, I graduated from Central, went to Hamilton, Sherwood, whatever the case may be. I didn't bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
I brought what I felt would be an asset to the Memphis City School Board. And so, to me, that is what shaped when I vote for somebody from an appointment standpoint. I vote, what can you bring to the table? When I look at Miss Logan, and Miss Logan and I do not or did not know one another before this process started.
Okay.
But I don't think there's much more oriented that you can get from somebody than somebody who serves as executive director of a community development corporation, as Ms. Logan does. So to me, it's a no-brainer when you have somebody who's invested in this community. The fact that her dad has one of the largest churches in this community, she, by her own statement and her own admission, she just moved back to District 1 in March.
Okay.
But that was before the election.
Okay.
Now, well, I think about it. Mr. Treadway's moving back was before the election as well, because he said he moved there in July. But other than that, he did not articulate any ties, any relations, or any investment in that community before then. It's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a no-brainer.
So when you all reconvene the first of the year, will anything get done? And I know you got to go into the budget season, city budget. At the way that we're operating now, you won't be able to pass anything as far as the budget is concerned, because it's still going to take 7, right?
Well, from a budget standpoint, I guess I need to go back and look at what our rules are and what the charter says, because there's some now when we pass. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
The budget is an ordinance. Well, you know what? I need to double check whether no. The budget is a resolution.
So doesn't it take 7 to pass a resolution?
No, it doesn't. It takes a majority to
Takes a
pass a
ma-
resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jamila brought an interesting fact last night. When she went to Robert's Rules of Order, and she was stating that because Berlin passed on every vote, that was not a vote. Bring to me, there were 2 points she made: Robert's Rules of Order, and then she brought up the wanting the second opinion other than Alan Wade's that none of your white counterparts wanted at all, and including your other white councilperson, Berlin Boyd, uh, wanted that at all. What was Jamila basically saying on last night?
So one thing to keep in mind, we still are a body of the majority.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, we have 10 members. The majority is 6.
Okay.
So when you talk about Councilwomen Swearingen Robinson, Councilman Brown, and me, we still make up 4.
Mm-hmm.
That is still not the majority of the 6. So the only way that we operate is that we have a majority. So 6 rules a day.
Okay. Okay.
Now, be that as it may, we and I think we get into some technical things here, but
Mhm.
from a standpoint, unless we have something that in our bylaws, which that is the Memphis City Council rules of procedure, unless we have some bylaws, those bylaws dictate everything too, so we don't have to necessarily abide by Robert's Rules of Order because they supersede whatever the Robert's Rules of Orders may be. And so there were some technicalities that we thought may have been in Ms. Logan's favor, but I still go back to the fact that there is something in our rules of procedure that dictate whenever we are filling a vacancy, we still have to have 7 votes.
So,
And I go back to
Okay.
10 minus 4 is how many?
6.
Is that 7?
No, that ain't 7.
So that means that we cannot fill a vacancy unless we have 7 votes, because we have that written in our rules. In order to ignore that, we have to have a 2/3 majority. A 2/3 majority of 10 is also 7.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do anything differently than that, there would have to be a motion that passes to suspend the rules, and the 4 of us are silent.
I noticed also last night, and I want you to define this moment last night, that I noticed that when the process started, that Councilman Joe Brown was ready to have the 4 of you walk out again. And when I spoke with you earlier today, you shared with me why you think walking out again at this point is not a good idea. Will you share that with the audience?
Right now, we do have an opinion in which I tend to agree with.
Mhm.
We cannot have so the majority is, there may be conflicting things in the charter, maybe conflicting things in state law, but it essentially says we have 10 members now.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mr. Morrison, Mrs. Fuller Love, and Dr. Ford are no longer on the Memphis City Council.
Right.
So we have 10 members. The point is that what defines a quorum could very well be, or based upon Mr. Wade's opinion, which I agree with,
Mhm.
a quorum now are those people who have been duly elected, sworn in to fill those offices. There are 10 of us.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of 10 is 6. Not 5, is 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, where we stand right now, because we still could have a quorum with 6, and if 4 of us walk out, we cannot prevent a 2/3 majority from taking place in order to suspend the rules. Because if we're down to 6, and 6 is the minimum number that you need to have a meeting, my interpretation, I'm not a lawyer, is that you only need 2/3 of 6, which is 4, in order to change the rules. So if we walked out, you would have been left with a body of 4. I mean, a body of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And if they vote in solidarity, you meet the requirement in order to change the rules that we have in place. But with 10 of us there, you would have to have Mr. Brown, Robinson or me to break ranks in order for a 7 majority to take place or 2/3 majority to take place.
Okay. So it is not in the best interest of what is trying to get done now if,
Right now,
okay,
for any of the four of us not to be present.
okay, okay, okay. Well, Martavius, you shared some information with us that is very helpful, and it helps us to understand some things. Will, when you reconvene, will this be down at the end of the process again that night as well?
It probably will be because, we still want to get, whatever will be on the agenda for the next meeting. We still want to take care of that business because we're not here to obstruct the business that needs to take place. We still are sitting here standing on principle to basically say, you're not going to railroad us. You're not going to change the rules of this room over here. And we're not going to sit back and just say, okay, well, we think that's the case. No. As long as the four of us are there, we're going to know the rules.
Mhm.
And we're going to use the rules not to our advantage, but to the advantage of the citizens of Memphis.
Will, on the 8th, will the process at least attempt, I don't think you'll get it done, but will there be an attempt to get all 3 of the vacancies filled that night?
I think it will be, and I'm optimistic that we will. And, the plea that I'm going to make to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle is that we have no control over who applies or whom applies. We
Mhm.
have no control over that. It sends a bad message. And as I mentioned last night, I don't know a black person is alive and breathing whose mama, daddy, guardian, whatever the case may be, who didn't tell us we got to be twice as good as our white counterparts.
Mhm.
Because we're not going to be stacked in our favor. Right now, Ms. Logan is not being judged by content of her character. She's being judged by people who happen to be supportive of her. And here's the other travesty.
Mhm.
And when you're in the heat of the moment, you forget about some points that you want to make. There have been colleagues of mine on the other side who have stated that she's the best candidate for this job, but they still refuse to take her.
But do you think, Martavius, when Worth Morgan made the statement that he could not support her because she's supported by State Representative Parkinson and former City Councilman Ricky Peake, do you think that they give her basis for a lawsuit?
No, it doesn't, because they still are able to vote their will in their conscience, and nobody can get into their heads and say that's not their will in their conscience.
So you don't think that that statement is a statement of discrimination?
No, well, discrimination against the law.
I guess it's not, is it? I guess discrimination is not,
It is not against the law.
and
But-
neither is racism.
No, that's don't get me started. You're correct.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Martavius, thank you so much, and if I need you again, I'll give you a call.
You can call me, but Thaddeus, let me say thank you for your role, your advocacy to making Memphians, and I know you have a much larger audience in Memphis, but making sure that people are informed. We need more voices like yours in order to get the message out here, because this is, I hear it all the time. This is chess. This is not checkers.
This is not what?
This is not chess. This is not checkers.
No, this is chess.
This is chess. And representatives control resources.
Mm-hmm.
Those resources are what, to me, is the lifeline for communities and resources in these communities.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are enabling and you are allowing your audience to be more informed. And hopefully, with more information, they allow them to be more engaged in this political process. Because politics is all about money, man.
It's all about money.
It's all about money.
And one of the things I'm hoping that we're able to do is to produce bodies on election day.
Right. And that is, and I tell you, your advocacy and your audience, and you talking about these issues. Now, I know you have some controversial issues that politics, and I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot miss the message about the dollars and the resources
Mm-hmm.
that if we're not informed,
Mm-hmm.
if you are informing people, we potentially miss out.
One of the things I think that is happening also, Martavius, I think that there are some things that's going to come up that some of the developers in this city want done. And they need the right people in place on the
There's
council.
nobody in politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
They need the right people on the council to get what they want done.
Yep, absolutely. And they've had it for so many years
Mhm.
before I was even astute
Mm-hmm.
to this political thing. Look, man, I became a financial advisor in 1994 before I had any inkling that I was going to move back home, and before I had any inkling that I was going to be in politics.
Mm-hmm.
So, even so, I didn't recognize the role that government and local elected officials and even the state elected officials. And, we need to get Representative Parks and Hardaway, Miller, Senators Ackberry, Senators Rogers. We need to get them some help. Now, we're limited. The rest of the help needs to come from the rest of the system. But the advocacy that elected officials, and I still want to stress though that
Mm-hmm.
we need independent black elected officials.
Yes, we do.
Somebody whose chains cannot be yanked. So, when I run next year and I come on your show to do some advertising and I spend money with you, what folks don't realize is the $5, the $10, the $20 can go a long way in making sure that you have independent voices up there.
Thank you so much.
It goes a long way in making sure that we have independent voices.
Well, and let me say this, that my show is the only show in the entire market that's a completely free voice. That's not ran by a corporation, it's ran by me. Nobody tells me what I can and cannot say. And when we do away with the free voices, then our lines of communications with the people are dead.
Yep.
So, and we have to understand that to power brokers, this, even though they watch this show to see what is being said, this is not a popular show with them because they know they cannot control what comes up out of my mouth. And anything about anybody is subject to come up. And some people may not even realize, you and I ain't always got along.
That's right, exactly. But we agree on the issue.
Right.
That's what I'm committed.
Well, I remember running you out of my studio some years ago. Yeah, I tried to get your ass up out of my studio. I was on the radio. I remember that. But as we grow and we look at the issues, I must applaud you, Joe Brown, Jamita, and Patrice.
But that's so thanks.
Yes,
Let me say this to you. What does Mr. Brown do for a living? Who does he work for?
himself,
Okay. Ms. Robinson is what?
retired.
Right. And so from a public
Okay,
So she has a semblance of independence.
okay,
And me, I work for myself.
right.
What's the common denominator? We're independent people.
You're free.
Right.
You're free.
And so that is from my standpoint, when I look at somebody that needs to be on the political body in this city,
Mm.
that's the first attribute that I look at. Are you independent?
You know, I told my good friend Ed Ford Sr. today, who is seeking appointment for District 6, who is going to run for District 6. I said, man, them white boys don't want you on the council. I said, first of all, you are one of those black men that's going to say whatever the hell you want to say to whoever you want to say it to, and you don't give a damn, because at the end of the day, you can go right down on Elvis Presley to E.H. Ford Mortuary Services, and you can be free. You're independent. We've got to understand that this thing we call politics is bigger than who we place in office. We've got to understand that this whole thing is about money. It's about economics. And if we don't have people on that council that look like me and you, Martavius, that understand this, then we will never get nothing done. I stated last year when they were building the crosstown, what did the black folk in that community get out of rebuilding the crosstown? You didn't get nothing in New Chicago, you didn't get nothing in Klondike, and that thing should have never been remodeled without black council people saying, what are you going to do for the people that live right around that particular structure?
Well, so that is, if you will allow me, let me give a shout out
Mm.
to Commissioners Reginald Milton, who beat me for the county commission.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to give a shout out to Mr. Reginald Milton and Miss Tammy Sawyer, because the county commission does not nearly get as much attention as the city council.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always said, and some of my colleagues on the city council, when I first got on the commission, got on the council, I said this. There's always been this thing, this sleight of hands. You watch the hand. The hand that you're always watching is what goes on at the Memphis City Council,
Mm-hmm.
who's the Memphis mayor,
Mm-hmm.
and what goes on in Memphis. The hand that's been robbing Memphis blind has been the county commission.
Mm.
Because you haven't had representation that is going to advocate for Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole Union Road project, Commissioner Tammy Sawyer and Commissioner Reginald Milton were the only ones who voted to postpone it because Mayor Harris wanted to have enough time to review it himself.
Okay. Okay.
So the thing about I gotta give a shout out to them, because you're talking about one of the biggest economic projects that this city has had, and and even with the financial background that I have,
Mm-hmm.
there's still some aspect when it relates to development and real estate. I'll be the first to, and that's why I want to go with the judge, because I didn't understand it. I still don't understand that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine somebody who sits all these hundreds of billions of dollars. Somebody that doesn't have a finance background, you just pass it through. Because it sounds good.
Let me ask you one final question, and I'm gonna get you off the phone. Is the money available? Does the city of Memphis have the money for a special election?
We can. Well, you know what? So here's the thing. I don't know where there are budget overages. What I mean by that, let's say that you have a division within city government that says we're gonna spend, and I think a number that's been quoted and thrown out there is $600,000.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say you have one city division or cross divisions. They say, well, we were going to spend $6 million, but in essence, we spent 5.4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's 600,000 you need to build it in Memphis.
Doesn't the council have the ability to pull from the reserves?
Yes, yes, we do.
Okay. So so it's some money there if you just want to do it.
Yep, yep.
How much?
That,
How?
that's what, yeah, right.
Right. So how much? How much? If you know off the top of your head, how much does the city of Memphis have in its reserve funds?
I want to say it's in the high double digits. I don't think that it's over 100 million, but it's in the high double digits. So but I want to say it might, don't know offhand, and I'll ask to have that information. We might be in the 75, $80 million range.
All right.
But I'm not sure.
So if the city of Memphis has $80 million in its reserve, and the council has the power to pull money from the reserves, we ain't got no reason why we could not have and could not afford a special election.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Come here. Talk
All
to
right.
you soon.
All right. City Councilman Martavius Jones. The city of Memphis has in excess of probably 60, 70, 80 million dollars in its reserves. So when we hear politicians tell us that we can't afford, it's gonna cost, well, go in the, hell, y'all go in the damn money for every damn thing else. Go in the money so that the citizens of Memphis receive their just and fair treatment. He brought up something about the Thaddeus Matthews show and what this show should mean to black folk in this community. And I'm going to speak on that when we come back from these commercial messages. Oh, who got some good drinks? Y'all didn't know about the reserve money that the city has, did you? It's the city's savings account. Why do y'all come in at the last damn moment and ask what the topic is? If you're gonna be late, just sit back and listen. Damn. You like my beard? Such a country girl. Does it make me look more sexy than I was? Y'all talking about good drinks. I could use me a drink right now. Whew. Jack Daniels and ginger ale? Ain't never tried that. So have we have been on there 5 years and haven't we? Dale. We have already been on there 5 years and haven't we? Will this be year number 6?
That came in what?
February 4th, 2013. All right, we're in commercial break. Alcohol is accident to the coop. You can get high off of some of it too. Some of it will get you drunk. How many more we got? Oh, Lord, never took a drink in your life. Well, that's sweet. That's good. I can't say that. This is the last one. be looking at your pictures alluring, and maybe that's the reason your skin is so tantalizing. It's because you ain't never had no drinking on it. All right. And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show here on a Wednesday night. And we try to bring you information, even though I have a national audience who's watching me on social media. There are some things that I have to deal with because, even locally, because these issues are happening in cities around the country. I want to thank Martavius for making the statement of how important having an independent voice is. I am not a part of any corporate television or broadcasting company. I've been in this game nearly 35 years of radio and television. I think I'm pretty good at what I do. I probably could have been, some years ago, even further, if I wasn't so blunt and to the point. And I refuse to allow anyone to buy my voice unless it's for a commercial. This show has been on the air now, how long is it, was it 5? I've been on the air 5 years, okay.
February 4th.
Huh?
It was February 4th.
So it'll be 6 years in February. Okay, I get the numbers. And, you know, I only miss shows for holidays and things of that nature. But what is sad to say, but it's real, that here in the city of Memphis, this show, because of my controversial nature, and because I ain't scared to talk about white folk, and you handkerchief head wallet carrying Negroes either, there are those who shy away from me. There are those who do not want people to know that they watch me, but they watch me every night. So the support does not always come on this particular voice. But what do you have with the Thaddeus Matthews Show that you have differently than 3, 5, 13, 24, and 30? Someone black that says what the hell he wants to say can say what he feels without worrying about what the corporation is going to say, who you're going to piss off. That's what you have with this show. I say the things that there are many wish they could say, but I ain't got no boss. I ain't got nobody to report to. This program is an independent entity. This is what they call alternative broadcasting. So in being controversial, and sometimes you have been taught, you have been programmed that if a black man speaks vocally like I do, and he's so blunt that you can roll him and smoke him, and he's anti the establishment and anti many of the things that he knows that white folk are doing in this country. A black man who is bold enough to tell white folk, kiss my ass. And you good Negroes too. A black man that does not have to beg you for anything in white America, and that is willing to sacrifice himself for what he believes and what he knows is right. Black folk are my biggest haters. I look at the Christmas drive, and I looked at the numbers today. There were people who called in on the show when we did the pledges. I'm gonna give $100. I'm gonna give $150. That's all you did was call. But you will support White TV and their toy drives. The only thing I wanted to do was to help 50 children. All I wanted to do was raise $7,500. That's $150 per child. That's all I wanted to do. None of the money goes to me. It goes to children, no matter what their color happens to be. When I looked at the report today and I looked at the names of the people who said, I support you, I'm going to give this, I'm going to give that. And I got all y'all names right here. But what good will it do for me to call your names on TV and say, this person pledged $150, this person pledged $100, and they didn't do it? So I found myself in dealing with the toy drive, because normally also what I do this time of year is I get 150 blankets or more, and I put them in the church van and I ride around myself. Normally me and Dale ride around the city, and we give blankets to people who are sleeping outdoors, people who are sleeping on stoops and sleeping behind buildings. And this thing is froze, Dale, the YouTube. That's what we do. That's what I normally do this time of the year. Well, this year, in trying to raise $7,500 to take care of children on this Sunday morning, we have not been successful. When I said, well, bring some toys by